Mr. Mendel, thanks very much for joining INV's program today. Since you have been involved with the development of alternative energy in Thailand, what do you think is the most viable source of alternative source of energy in Thailand, and why?
Well, Khun Sin, first of all, thank you very much for having me over. And as we had discussed before, Thailand has a lot of resources on the alternative energy resource, from the alternative energy resource perspective. You've got wind, biomass, solar. There's a lot of development that's actually happening in Thailand right now. So from that perspective, when we talk about a technology being viable or unviable, it has a lot to do with three different factors. Again, like we had discussed before. One is the resource, the other is the capital cost, and third is the regulatory environment, among others. Within Thailand, the regulatory environment is actually structured to support all three, but some are more positive than others. The capital cost actually goes up and down with the international pricing, which is not really dependent on Thailand. So we don't really have a control on it. And from a resource perspective, we think the solar resource is pretty decent. Biomass is abundant, but Thailand is a low wind speed country. So depending on any time of the day or a point of time, each of those technologies would be considered viable or unviable. From IFC's perspective, we actually consider each of those technologies as viable for investment and are looking at them as we speak.
Yeah. Today you have visited what they said, the largest wind farm in Thailand. What do you think about the prospect of the wind energy in Thailand in particular?
Well, that is actually a very interesting question. Again, like we had discussed before, I come from the wind sector. So wind is very close to my heart on a personal note, but is also something that IFC has been concentrating on. Now, we actually see the wind sector as having a very positive outlook in Thailand, even though there is a low wind speed regime. This comes from comes through because of a couple of different reasons. One is that we've got low wind speed turbines, which are available in the market and which the manufacturers are bringing to Thailand. Case in point, the wind farm that we saw earlier today. Second, there are pockets of resources which developers are developing and are getting to the finish line. Third is the feed-in tariff or the adder that the government is putting on, which makes these projects viable. So we see this sector in a very positive light. And we actually see the entire wind sector evolving and developing as we go further along. Currently, there is roughly, after the project that we saw today, about 200 megawatts of installed capacity. But from what I understand, there is a very large amount of wind energy that's being developed in Thailand. And we, through our efforts along with the Ministry of Energy, are planning to actually bolster that even more. So all in all, we are very positive about it.
So when you said you're going to plan to bolster the wind energy here, what is in your mind?
Well, this is a project that IFC has actually put together along with the Climate Trust Funds and with the support of the Canadian government. And we are working with DEDE, also the Ministry of Energy, to work on the regulatory environment that we see, or the issues in the regulatory environment that we've got feedback on from the industry. So we have been engaged with different parts of the industry, with different stakeholders, and we have been working with them to figure out what their issues are. After we've understood their issues, we've been working with DEDE to figure out how we can start addressing those issues, whether it be through law or whether it be through creating structures which can work with the current regulatory regime. So all in all, that's the plan, and it's a 2 to 3 year project, and that's what we put together. And now we are in the implementation stage, and hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years, we would start seeing some results.
Has IFC, which you represent, provide any financial assistance to any alternative energy project in Thailand so far?
From IFC's perspective, climate change is one of the pillars that we believe in. And as you know, IFC is part of the World Bank Group. We do come from the mindset of the development institutions, where the focus is to address different issues, and climate change is a very key one. In climate change, renewable energy is also a very important area for us. Thailand, of course, as always, has been a focus country for us. We have been working in Thailand for a pretty long period of time. We've been supporting the alternative energies in Thailand. In Thailand, we have actually worked with, internationally we work with a lot of different companies, and some of them are actually active in Thailand. To name two, one is SunEdison and the other is the Solar Power Group that we've been actively working with, and they have been actively developing projects in Thailand. We are, of course, looking at biomass projects. We are looking at other solar projects and other wind projects as we speak as well. So to answer your question, yes, we have been active in this market, and we hope to be here in the near future as well.
And you have, IFC have put certain investment on the two companies you just mentioned. Yes.
That's correct. So we've worked with both of those companies as equity in SunEdison's parent company, but as on the project level with SPG as well.
I just wonder, globally speaking, can we say that any source of alternative energy is more commercially viable than the other? Or it just depends on the situation of each country by country?
Khun Sinfa, I think you've answered the question because frankly speaking, it is so dependent on the resource and the regulatory environment and also the entire value chain that is present in that particular country, that it's very hard to pinpoint any one resource. In some countries, wind is the most commercially viable solution, especially when you're comparing it with fossil fuel. In other countries, solar has actually come to the forefront. In some others, it's geothermal. Hydro, of course, has been there for a very long time and is very commercially viable. So it depends. So unfortunately, I can't pinpoint any one technology.
After you've been working with Thailand and other countries in the region, would you say that Thailand is currently a leader of developing alternative energy in Southeast Asia?
It depends a lot on the definition of Southeast Asia, but
Southeast Asia means the 10 countries of member of ASEAN.
Yep. No, definitely Thailand is leading in a variety of different resources. Some of the other countries are doing much better in others, but all in, I think Thailand has taken very positive steps and is considered to be at the forefront, especially for solar, compared to a lot of other countries. We are seeing developments in most of these technologies in the other countries as well, but we will see what the future holds. Currently, I would put Thailand as one of the leaders for sure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mendel, for joining Eye on the Beast today. I hope that our program will be able to have you with us again in the near future.
I look forward to it, Khun Sunphan. Thank you very much.
Broadcast every Saturday from 11 to 11:30 p.m. on MCOT World. It reruns every Monday and Thursday from 9:30 to 10 p.m. on the same channel. We promise you that we will bring you more interesting subjects and events to our program here. You can also follow us, our Facebook page and YouTube. Thanks for spending your time with us.